we have a very special guest joining us from the UK, Orim Shimshon. It has a very interesting story. I'll let him tell the story. Orim, I'd like to invite you. And then I'd like you, Tom, to tell us your experience of today. So please, everybody, welcome Orim Shimshon. Welcome.
Thanks very much. Right, from the UK, as most of you know, born in Iraq, and came to the UK as a child, less than 1 year old. Now, how I became pro-Israel? Well, the situation, it started off slowly, then it sped up pretty fast. In '89, when I was 7 years old, my parents took me to a Muslim school, and the indoctrination began. You know, boycott Jaffa Cakes, boycott Penguin Publishing books, and things like that. And so, I think around 11 or 12 years old, that was the height of my anti-Semitism, where, you know, paranoid about Jews here, there, under the bed, everywhere. Anyway, moving forward, 1996, there was a war in Lebanon, Grape Roth's operation, I think that was the name. Yeah, it lasted for 3 weeks. And what happened was, our imam, who was also our Islamic teacher, he was, you know, very happy. He said, look, you know, this is it. This is victory, boys. Next week, the head of Hezbollah is going to walk into Tel Aviv and then march to Jerusalem. Of course, things didn't quite work out. The following week, Hezbollah were humiliated. He was angry, and they were showing us pictures of, you know, dead babies. And when we went to the class, obviously the mood was down. People were saying, "Oh, they've killed our people. Astaghfirullah, this and that." And so I remember him saying things like, "If you go into not only a war with a Jew, if you get into a fight with a Jew, you can kill him and drink his blood." And the students were getting excited. Now, me, in my mind, when I got home, me and my sister were watching television. They had the Israeli official at that time, and she was saying that she was, you know, she apologized she said she was sorry for the deaths of the Lebanese side. Now, obviously, my sister dismissed that as something deceitful, but I wanted to know the other side at that point. But I was only 14 years old, so I was a really young kid. So I phoned the Israeli embassy, and I asked them for their side of the story, and they sent me a booklet. Now, I lost interest pretty quickly, and I started getting into football, or what Americans will say soccer. We have Americans here. Yeah. And so they had the Star of David as a sign, a team called Ajax Amsterdam. And Ajax were doing okay until the end. And at this point, I was on this forum where I met my first Israeli who used to kind of like press me on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. At this point, I was really getting into soccer. You know, as a kid, you want to have fun, you want to enjoy yourself with your team and so on. And so, 99, went to Jordan, UAE. When we were in Jordan in September, there was a suicide attack in Israel, in Tel Aviv. Nobody was killed, but there were injuries. And on our side, there were celebrations in Jordan, a neighborhood in Amman. And I thought it was a wedding. Usually when there's like, you know, people dancing and, you know, singing, there's usually like you know, think, okay, it's another wedding. But they were giving out sweets. I thought, hold on, what's going on? Why are they giving us sweets? So we found out that there was a terrorist attack. And I looked inside the television and the carnage. I thought, okay, let's pause for a minute. We're dehumanizing other people. Aren't we dehumanizing ourselves? So fast forward, 2003. Iraq War. Born in Iraq, obviously, had relatives. Me and my former best friend, I wouldn't call him best friend anymore. Anyway, we were angry at the bombings of Iraq. We were kids, early 20s. I didn't understand, at least. And we were angry at American Britain at the time. Then he would bring up Israel. And he made a claim that his uncle heard people in Balaclava speaking Hebrew. Now, I knew it was a lie. I said, look, you know, please, don't... I'm not stupid, you know. I didn't fall out of the back of the falafel truck. Come on, let's just leave in peace, you know. The Middle East, Israel's there, we're here. We have to sort things out. So anyway, he was angry at me. As time went on, you know, he would say, oh, you know, what about the Jew, this Jew, that? And I said, look, yeah, in Iraq, there's a civil war going on. People killing each other. We're the laughing stock. So why would you want to demonize another group of people when we're being demonized and laughed at by other Muslim nations? You know, you have Iranians mocking Sunnis, you have Saudis mocking the Shias, and so on. You know, when people dying. It seems to be part of their culture, in my opinion, to celebrate death, as we saw on 9/11. So moving forward, 2006, Hezbollah, again, another war. And I was with my friends going to a football game. We had the Israeli flag because the sign, Star of David, was a sign of our team. So we had obviously pro-Palestinians, anti-Israel people approaching us, and we said we don't want none of it. And I was interested at that time because football, you need a break. Everyone needs a break at times from politics. My father at that time, he asked me, he said, do you want to come with me to a demonstration of Hezbollah? I said, no, I'm well integrated by this age. In my mid-20s, you're well integrated. You don't really want to get into this rabid, angry. And plus, I had left the religion of Islam 5 years before that for reasons. I won't go too into it, but I cringed at, Muhammad with his young Aisha, child bride. Sorry, I'm not trying to preach hatred. Anyway, just in case someone ever left you. Racist! Kidding. And obviously, where Islam spread, it seemed to attack everyone. Jews, Christians, Hindus, Buddhists, and so on. So 2009, really deep into it now. Iraq, the critical moments. And first of all, there were these Baathists. For those who don't know, the Baathist ideology was started off in Syria, a guy called Michel Aflaq. It was, so I was keen on it because it crushed Islamists, these religious wacky people in Iraq. I thought, hey, it's secular, it's good. Now, when I met them through the internet, things didn't turn out right because I didn't praise Saddam. I thought he was a maniac. Also, in their eyes, I wasn't critical of Israel. And so they showed me this film called Deterrence on the laptop. It showed a film about Israel nuking Baghdad or flattening Baghdad. And I told them that's an American film, not an Israeli film. And I wanted to know, what was this connection? Why is there so much fixation on Israel? So I researched Baathism. And I was embarrassed to find out that Baathism was modeled on Nazism. I thought, oh boy, okay, I made a mistake here. Anyway, so moving forward, there was Women's Rights Day in March 2009, hosted by an Iraqi Kurdish woman called Huzan Mahmoud. Okay, we're going to talk about the abuse, raise awareness of the women's rights abuse in Muslim countries and other third world countries. And so I went, next to her was a woman called Tamar Katz. Israelis might have heard of Tamar Katz. She refused to serve in the IDF. So I'm going to Women's Rights Day and I talk about Israel-Palestinian. Okay, that's it. Time to sort out this conflict once and for all. So I met someone on the internet called, I forgot her name, but she showed me honestreporting.com and it opened my eyes about everything. And I remained humble in a way that I thought, okay, look, I don't know. This person seems to know a lot. So it's best to just listen rather than challenge someone. And so I listened. And then I went further to research anti-Semitism because I used to speak to non-Muslims in Muslim land, not only Christians, but Buddhists. And unfortunately, the same thing came up again. They would blame the Jews. Buddhists. The reason why I didn't join any anti-Islam groups was two reasons. First of all, I was wary that they probably saw me as a Muslim no matter what. The second of all, there was that element of anti-Semitism. For instance, they would turn around and they would say that because of the Jews, the Muslim migrated to Europe. So I asked them, please name me one Jew that authorized that migration of Muslims to Europe. And they couldn't answer. So I decided, okay, I can't go this direction with these people. Anyway, so I sorted this out. I was researching more and more. Anti-Semitism, the history, the hatred. I thought, okay, the hatred starts off against Jews, but it moves on to other people. You heard of the documentaries, first Saturday people, then Sunday people, right? And so I thought, okay, I've got to do something. So a few years down the line, I thought, okay, I'm going to go to these events. Enough of being a keyboard warrior and arguing people on various forums. I thought I've got to go out there and do something and make my voice heard because I'm so passionate. Now, I want to fast forward to something that happened early last year. As I was doing my advocacy for Israel, there were some Jews who contacted me online and we went to Skype. And they were very depressed because they were suffering from anti-Semitism. And it was really bad. Some of them were crying. And I don't know how any of you feel that when you hear people crying consecutively from a grown man to a teenager. So I thought to myself, and that's why some of you saw my videos, why I started to do more, some people say erratic or spectacular things. Because I felt I had to do something, anything, to lift their spirits and anyone else who's watching my videos. Another thing I have to tell you, I was working for a company, it's a 6-week temp, And my manager was a Jew. When he would ask me what you do outside, I never mentioned Israel. But on the lunchtime, he actually turned around and said, he was anti-Israel, very anti-Israel, that he was looking on the news on lunchtime. And he asked me what my view is. So I told him what it was. Now, I'll just let you know, I'm not trying to play the victim card. I just want to let you guys know what I'm through, what I went through, what happened in my eyes. And so from then on, I started to get bullied. Luckily, it was a short term. Like, he'd walk past my chair and he'd punch it. And when I'm walking to the station, he would make me buckle, snap at my heels. And he would, in the kitchen, when I came out, there he was. And I asked him, can I come through? He said, no, you'd have to barge past me. Now, I didn't take this personally. He doesn't hate me. He hates his Jewishness. He thinks that he'll please the Gentiles so much that they'll see him as one of them. Unfortunately, people like him need to read the history books. So when the Jewish communists were loyal to Stalin, they thought he would leave him alone. And he massacred them. Same with the odd Jews you see that, the few Jews that are anti-Israel, they think that if Israel's wiped off, that everyone will leave them alone. Obviously, this won't be the case at all. And so that's my journey. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for your support, for those watching my videos. And that's it. Thanks very much. Yeah, sure.
Do you practice any religion at all now?
Yeah, I'm a Noahide. It's just 7 laws. It predates Judaism. 7 laws of Noahidism. So don't kill, don't steal, don't eat live animals, and things like that. Yes?
How does your father deal with your change?
Well, obviously it was shocking at first. Anger first, but then he came to terms with it. He decided to respect my view, but still he's anti-Israel like all other Muslims. Yeah. Go ahead.
So what was it about Islamic doctrine that forced you to go away and apostate?
All right, put it this way. We have Jews and Christians in this room, yeah? We never hear the term Christian apostate being threatened, or maybe the odd one, but usually it doesn't happen, right? We never hear Jewish apostate. The problem I have with the religion of Islam, now look, I don't go by the Quran. I go by, they say judge them by their fruits, their actions. And what we see is, if you have a family, a woman, say she wants to convert to Islam. The husband has to convert to Islam along with her, otherwise they would have to divorce. He's given them a divorce. And can you imagine being that kid? Your parents are divorced just because one of them wants to take up a religion? There's so many other things, like what's this honor? They have honor reflexes. Like anyone who's gay, or someone who supports Jews or Israel, it's like, my God, you can't do that. Women, being independent, dressing up unmodestly, as the Muslims would call it. So all these things added up, and I thought, okay, well, this isn't for me. Although, don't get me wrong, I don't hate all Muslims. I've got gay Muslim friends. I do support gay Muslims. If they want to build a gay mosque with a pink dome, that's fine. So does that answer your question?
Could you tell us a little bit about the antics and the protests that you've done and the responses you've received, any positive, negative?
Well, there's been both positive and negative. Positive is that people have shared my things. People have, backed me up. I look at my newsfeed and on Facebook, see them arguing with other people on forums as well. The negative, unfortunately, outweigh the positive in a way, in certain respect that I've received. Before, at the beginning, when I was doing this, hate mail and death threats were the exception to the rule. And now they're the norm. And now they've hit home because the people I've grown up with have realized, and to their eyes, what has happened to him. Because my sister and her husband are in Iran as we speak. So obviously we've gone separate ways. And so, yeah. Anyone else?
The languages you speak.
Languages I speak? English, Arabic, a little bit of Dutch. I spent some time in Holland here and there. Not that great.
You said that your father invited you to a Hezbollah rally while living in Iraq?
No, I came to the UK when I was 11 months old, so it was in London.
I'm sorry, because Iraq sounded crazy. London, that makes perfect sense.
Anyone else?
feel that when you go in the streets of London, you get threats and, people that recognize you from the Muslim community, maybe from childhood or from your videos or from your activity?
Yes, when I go to the buses or trains, I always have to look around because when you see these threats are real. We've seen what the Muslim terrorists have done in France, in Denmark, and in Belgium. So they're not a joke, and these days they all so much energy because of the current climate. But so far it's in digital because I'm here. But I don't know what's going to happen when I go back, and I do question my future in the United Kingdom.
Do you find any other Muslims reach out to you, or maybe because they can relate to you, or do you find that, have you ever found that maybe there's some there they're just in hiding because they don't want to be ostracized or alienated? You would be the one that would be able to see them the best, since you'd like to reach out to other nations. So I don't know if you've had any experience with that.
Well, yeah, they do, but it doesn't last long because it becomes a monologue where they speak and I listen, and I'm not, I just...
I mean, they are sympathetic, but they reach out in the sense that they agree with you, but they don't have a voice, they're too scared to have a voice. Have you found that?
Oh, well, someone did message me anonymously from the United States, someone from Judea, Samaria, an Arab Palestinian, and he told me that he'd agree with me, but he's too scared to, go out himself because of what could happen to him. I can understand why Muslims are scared, because I think Muslims are the first victims of Islam. If you look across the whole entire Muslim world, what's going on? Does that answer your question?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ayman Orim. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you so
He
much.
just turned 18 today. Go ahead. Now make a wish. Great. Thank you so much. Great.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Thank you. And while we are cutting the cake, Tom, would you like to come and tell us the great things you're doing?